Hello everyone. Today I'll be sharing with you an implementation guide for business responsibility and sustainability reporting. A brief introduction about me. I am a certified member of Institute of Risk Management. I had worked as a risk management head for about 15 years for Hindustan Coca-Cola Beverages, which is one of the top 5 FMCG companies in India. During my tenure, I had embedded a risk management program and I implemented sustainability, CSR and stakeholder engagement initiatives for SEBI. I had also embedded security management system across the company. Before that, I was working with Special Protection Group, Government of India, protecting the Indian Prime Minister for about 10 years. And before that, I worked as a BSF officer protecting the India-Pak border, preventing infiltration of militants in the year between 1990 to 1992. Some of the certifications done by me. Number one, I am a certified member of Institute of Risk Management, UK. I am a certified lead auditor in Environment Management System. I am a certified coach from International Coach Federation and a certified train the trainer from Dale Carnegie Institute. Today, we'll be looking at 15 steps to do BRSR reporting. We will understand what is BRSR reporting, what is the background to it, and what is to be reported under BRSR, what is ESG, how BRSR reporting benefits the stakeholders, what are the principles in which BRSR reporting is based, what are the 9 principles, how many sections are there in BRSR reporting format, and what are the key requirements under each of the section, and how to report section A, section B and section B in the BRSR format, followed by Q&A. For your questions, I request you to kindly share your questions, comments in the comment box. I should be able to reply back to you. Moving on, first question is what is BRSR and why it is important to report. BRSR means business responsibility and sustainability reporting. Why are we talking about this today is because Securities Exchanges Board of India has mandated recently in the year May 2021 that the top 1000 listed companies as per market cap are required to disclose about their environmental, social and governance indicators to the security exchanges where they are listed. So this is for the benefit of the shareholders, investors and other stakeholders to know how responsible is the company. Now what is the background to BRSR reporting? See, responsible business conduct is a globally recognized concept which is founded on the principle that business can perform better when engaged in revitalizing the society from which it extracts resources. In India, the government came out with their guidelines as below. In 2009, Ministry of Corporate Affairs has issued National Voluntary Guidelines on CSR. In the year 2012, Business Responsibility Reporting, that is BRR, has been mandated by SEBI to top 100 companies as per market cap to do the BRR reporting based on the National Voluntary Guidelines. In 2014, CSR has been made mandatory. In 2015, BRR has been mandated for top 500 companies. In 2019, National Guidelines on Responsible Business Conduct, that is NGRBC, was released, now extended to top 1000 listed companies. As recently as May 2021, BRSR, that is Business Responsibility and Sustainable Reporting, has been introduced by the SEBI. So what is to be reported under BRSR and by whom? Now, first let us address who is required to report. So, all the top 1000 listed companies as per market cap are required to voluntarily report about their environmental, social and governance requirements to the stock exchanges in the BRSR format as given by SEBI. Now, the same will be made mandatory for the financial year 2022 and 2023 for those top 1000 listed companies. And the same can be done as a voluntary by other companies also, as they strive to become environmentally a responsible company. What is ESG? ESG is about responsible business conduct in dealing with the environment, social and governance aspects of the company. Because business extracts its natural resources in the form of raw materials from the environment and uses the human resources to convert them into products or services. Since the natural resources are a shared resource, it is important that the business operations are done in a sustainable manner. See, it is like our mobile phone. We use the mobile phone when it is charged, but after usage, if you do not recharge, then we will not be able to use it. Similarly, we draw the businesses draw their resources from the environment and the community around. So it is important that they do their business in a responsible way. How BRSR benefits the stakeholders? BRSR disclosures helps the stakeholders to understand if the company is conducting its business responsibly, that is, how it protects the environment, how it deals with the people and the community around, and how ethical, fair is the company. What are the basic principles of BRSR reporting? And so, first we saw that national voluntary guidelines have been issued by the Minister of Corporate Affairs, and that forms the basic foundation. So, national voluntary guidelines are the guidelines for the companies to do their business responsibly while dealing with their environmental, social and economic responsibilities. Now in 2015, National Guidelines on Responsible Business Conduct has been aligned with the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations and the Respect Pillar of the United Nations Guiding Principle. Some of the key drivers for the NGRBC are: 1. United Nations Guiding Principle, 2. United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, Paris Agreement on Climate Change, International Labour Organization's Core Conventions on Child Labour, Annual Business Responsibility Report by SEBI, and Companies Act 2013. Next question is, what are those 9 principles of BRSR reporting? Principle number 1, business should conduct and govern themselves with integrity and in a manner that is ethical, transparent and accountable. Principle number 2 is business should provide goods and services in a manner that is sustainable and safe. Principle number 3 is about business should respect and promote the well-being of their employees, including those in their supply chain, that is value chains. Principle number 4 is about respecting the interest and be responsive to all its stakeholders. And principle number 5 is about respecting and promoting human rights. And principle number 6 is about respect and make efforts to protect and restore the environment. Principle number 7 is about engaging in influencing public and regulatory policy in such a manner that it is responsible and transparent. Principle number 8 is about promoting inclusive growth and equitable development. And principle number 9 is about engaging and providing value to the customers in a responsible manner. So we had seen 9 principles of BRSR reporting. Next we move on to how many sections are there in a BRSR format? Basically, there are three sections. Section A talks about the general disclosures of a company. Section B talks about the management and process disclosures, and section C talks about principle wise performance disclosures. That is how a company has performed with respect to integrating and implementing the 9 principles that we saw in the earlier slide. And section C has two parts. One is mandatory, which is compulsory that you have to report. The other one is voluntary, which you may or may not report. So what are the key requirements under section A? In section A, you will see in the format that you will give about your company details that is about your entities details, your product services, your company's operation details, your company's market served, and about your employees who are not permanent, non-permanent, differently abled, etc. Percentage of women on the board of directors, subsidiary companies, CSR details, and business conduct and sustainability issues. So this will be given under section A reporting. Under section B, basically it is about the policy, process, governance, oversight, and leadership with respect to the 9 principles, how you have made a governance structure to integrate that into about the ESG part of requirements into your company's processes. And in section C, that like we had seen earlier, it is about integrating the principles and core elements, 9 principles and its core elements with the key processes and decisions. So in section C, when you are reporting in the BRSR format, principle wise performance will be disclosed. So here we will see what are the key elements of the nine principles in the 3 dimensions called environmental, social, and governance. First, let us talk about the dimension of environment. So under environment, you will be required to report about the energy consumption, your greenhouse gas emissions, and scope 1, 2, 3 emissions, solid waste management, water consumption and withdrawal, 3R practices, that is reduce, reuse, and recycle processes and practices, sustainable sourcing, extended producers responsibility. This is about waste management of post-consumer waste and life cycle assessment. Under social dimension, you will be reporting about how you are taking care of the employees' well-being, their health and safety workers, health and safety of the workers and of course employees. What are the trainings conducted in this regard? How human rights, whether they have been conveyed and properly, people are aware of their human rights. Social impact assessment, gender equality with respect to representation of women at the top levels, CSR activities and the details of your beneficiaries. And in the 3rd dimension called governance, you will be reporting about the anti-corruption and anti-bribery policies, conflict management process, retention policies, remuneration policies, and stakeholder engagement. Now we are coming to the actual format reporting. So what you are seeing in the screen is the page number 1 of the BRSR format. So in this blank format, you will be filling about your company's identity number, corporate identity number, name of your company, year of incorporation, registered office addresses, corporate address, email, website, financial year of reporting, name of the stock exchange where the shares are listed, paid up capital, name and contact details, reporting boundaries, etc. And you will go on to report about your products and services in the format given below, and what is the majority of your product or services, like that. And continuing on with section A, this part you will report about the operations and market, that is where are your plants and number of offices in India, within India, and if it is outside, then you have to mention where are they and what are the markets served by the entity. and a brief note on the type of customers and what is the contribution of exports as a percentage to the total turnover of the entity. Now, continuing on, the fourth part of the section A talks about employees, under which you will talk about how many permanent workers are there, other than permanent, and both about employees and workers. Here you will give details about differently abled people under employee section and worker section. So here this is about permanent, non-permanent, differently abled employees, male, female, percentage, etc. Here you will talk about differently abled workers in the permanent category or other than permanent category and the total. Next, we will talk about, you will report about women in board and turnover rate of the employees. So participation, inclusion, representation of women. So how many women are there in the board of directors and how many are there in the management? Likewise, what is the turnover rate of your employees and the workers? So turnover rate for the current financial year of the permanent employees and permanent workers, and for the previous year, like that we will go on to give these details about the turnover rate. Further, you will give reports about holding subsidiary and associate companies, including joint ventures, and those details, your CSR details and your turnover and net worth. This is about transparency and disclosures compliances. So what are the complaints and grievances that has been received on any of the principles, that is principle 1 to 9 under national guidelines and responsible business conduct? So from which stakeholder it came, for example, whether it came from communities or investors, and what is the mechanism in place, and how many complaints were filed, how many are pending resolution, and remarks with respect to that. Similarly for the previous financial year. Next, this is about grievance redressal, where the grievances have received from which of these stakeholders, that is shareholders, employees and workers, customers, value chain partners and others, and what is the mechanism available, what are the number of complaints received for the year, and how many are pending, and what is the remark if any. Similarly, you will report about the same in the previous financial year. So here the next part is about material responsible business conduct issues. That is, indicate material responsible business conduct and sustainability issues pertaining to the environmental and social matters that present a risk or an opportunity to your business, and rationale for identifying the same, and approach to adapt or mitigate the risk along with the financial implication. Basically, is there any issue from the environmental and social domain which is identified, whether that is a risk or an opportunity, and what is the rationale that you have taken to identify that as a risk and opportunity? In case of risk, what is the approach or what is the mitigation plan that is planned, and what are the financial implications, whether even if it is a positive or a negative implication. So basically here we are identifying an issue and saying that how you have captured those issues, and whether it is a risk or an opportunity, and what is the company doing to address or exploit the opportunity and mitigate the risk. So we will see some examples. We will see in a brief detail about what is this material responsible topics and how many types are there. Okay, so materiality topics are those topics that can impact your company's economy, environment and people. That could be either positive or negative. Now, the common themes as per global standards on material responsibility is about stakeholder engagement, management of topics and annual disclosure. And there are three types of materiality. One is about impact, called impact materiality, and a sustainability topic is a material based on the impact of organization's activities on the economy, society and environmental aspects across the value chain. Anything which can impact economy, society, social or environment aspects. And next is financial material topic is the topic if it affects or has the potential to affect the company's enterprise value. Double materiality is about looking at both the dimensions of impact and financial value, and it can impact or can be impacted by ESG topics. Okay, next. So now what you are seeing in the screen is an extract with related to the materiality topic from Tata Power's BRSR report, which is there in SEBI's website. There's one more BRSR sample format, actual format reported by SDFC. We will see one by one. Now, just for your better understanding, when the Tata Power has reported there in the BRSR report about materiality, what they are given, just for your understanding, materiality assessment is the foundational aspect of the integrated reporting at Tata Power, given the influence material issues have on the business activities, stakeholders, and the ability to create sustainable value. In financial year 20, the company undertook a new materiality assessment methodology in accordance with the IIRC framework to gain the detailed understanding of the most relevant matters that could impact the company's business in the short, medium, and long term. And the company revisits the material issues annually to factor in any of the realignment due to evolving business environment. So this is how they had mapped it. So there are more details given in the report. I am just sharing this you as a sample for your better understanding. Basically, it is about sustainable topics which can impact your company. Now, this is the second second example, which is an extract from SDFC's BRSR report. So SDFC has reported like this in the report for the serial number 24, which is an overview of the entity's material responsible business conduct issues. So they had identified affordable housing as one of the material issue, and it is an opportunity as per them, and the rationale is given here. I mean, what is the reason why they identified as a opportunity, and what are the adaptation or mitigation measures to implement that, and whether it is a positive, negative implication is given here. Similarly, the second issue they identified is social responsibility towards society. That is an opportunity, and what the company has done with respect to managing this particular issue, and whether what is the impact of that, whether it is positive, negative, everything is given here. There are more such materiality topics given by SDFC. I have just picked up only serial number 1 and 2. You can go to the SEBI website and see that the SDFC's report. For your whole report is there for your better understanding. So how to report section B is given here. Basically, as we mentioned, it is about how your business has demonstrated the use of structure, policies, procedures to adopt the NGRBC principles and core elements. So in section B, the reporting is about policy and management process, whether the company has adopted the principle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, in what manner, and whether it has translated the policy into procedures. So, this is about the management process of integrating principle 1 to 9 in the company's management process. Next is about governance, leadership, and oversight. So here, if you see the statement by director responsible for business responsibility report, who is responsible for the report, and whether ESG related challenges, targets, achievements have been highlighted. You will have to give details about who is responsible for oversight of business responsibility policy, and whether the company has any committee or a person, director level person responsible for decision making on sustainability related issues. Next is about NGRBC review, whether the company has done any review with respect to the principles 1 to 9. So indicate whether review was undertaken by the director or any other committee, performance against the policies and follow-up action, and what is the frequency of the review, and what is the compliance with the statutory requirement of the relevance to the principles and rectification of any non-compliances. And the next point is about whether an entity, the company has carried out independent assessment, evaluation of the working of its policies by an external agency. If yes, provide you the name of the company. Next is in section B, compliance of NGR BC principles. If an answer to the question is no, that is not all the principles are covered by the policy, reasons to be stated for each of the principle. That is, the entity does not consider principle material to its business, yes or no. Entity is not at a stage where it is a position to formulate and implement policies on specified principle, yes or no, with respect to each other principle. The entity does not have a financial or a human technical resources available for the task, yes or no. It is planned to be done in the next financial year, yes or no. Any other reason.